And we're back, and you're listening to Soul Talk, and this is Jeremy and we're back, and you are listening to Soul Talk, and this is Jeremy McDonald, and we were interviewing Virginia Drake. Virginia, one of the other questions I thought about on the break is that you and I have talked a great deal about playing it small, and I think you and I had a conversation about a month and a half ago, and I was looking at doing something, and you had said, don't ever limit yourself. Don't ever settle for anything. And, because one of the things that you and I teach is that you actually have the power to create your world with that divine energy within you. But if you're playing small, it's always going to be small. And I just wondered if you could talk a little bit more about that.
You know, when I was a very big personality for many, many years. I mean, I was very strong in the world of man or the world of material. And I had the big house and I had the big car. And I thought I was playing it pretty big. However, I didn't realize that my ego was much bigger than me because it never was satisfied. And when I finally broke away from really looking at my inner truth, that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and I wanted my human experience to be larger than my spiritual experience in that time, and it never gave me peace. It never gave me inner joy. And when I realized that I was really the spiritual part of it all, and all I had to do was say yes to myself, I stopped playing it small. I stopped settling. I settled a lot of things in my life because I wanted to be a pleaser, and I jumped a lot of hoops to make everybody happy. But I wasn't happy because I thought always I would be happy if everybody else around me was happy. That's not true. I was very sad and very pained a lot of times. That's why I had a heart attack, because a heart attack is about self-love. So when I realized I'm a spiritual coach, and I don't want anybody to play small, because when we really are our light and we are the brightest star out there, there's nothing wrong with that. Because we were taught in the world of man, which I call, or the material world, is that we have to play small because we don't want to make anybody else feel bad. You know what? If the real light workers and the real spiritual beings, they'll want to be big, because the more successful we are, the more successful everybody's going to be, because the more everybody's going to be shining their light. And that's what it's all about. Don't hide your light anymore. Don't put it out for anybody, because then you're going to be the one who's going to have to cross over and explain to the higher consciousness, well, I placed another God before me. I made somebody more important than me. You are the most important being on this planet, each and every one of us. And when we don't honor that, we're not honoring the goodness in us. So when I say don't play it small, that means don't play it small. Don't let anyone influence you of any way to make your light small, because you're going to be responsible for that. And then you're going to be regretful. And you never want to cross over in regret or sadness because you didn't finish out what you came in to do. That's the biggest message I could ever say. Don't regret anything. If you've got somebody out there that you need to say you're sorry to, swallow that ego, put it in the back seat of your car, and let you drive, and say the truth. You're sorry. There's nothing wrong with being sorry. There's nothing wrong with really realizing yourself. You are creating everything around you, so why not create love? I played it small by creating the little bit of life. I want it all. I want everything that God promised me. And that's what I mean. Don't play it small, because God's not small.
That was one of the biggest lessons you taught me as well, sitting in that small room in Sacred Grounds, was that you can't let guilt control your life, and you have to let things go. You have to forgive yourself and forgive everyone else. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I had to teach myself in order to get on with my life, in order to make my light shine just like we're supposed to. Because in order to do that, once you let go and once you let your light shine, everyone else around you will see that, and they'll respect that, and they'll understand.
Well, another thing that's also I found was really important was accepting your past and accepting that it grew you. Because a lot of people have this tendency to try and shut their past out and forget everything bad that ever happened to them. And some of the most difficult things have ever happened to me over the last 5 years. And I realized that without them, I would not have the strength to relate to some of these people that I meet and to talk to some of these people the way that I talk to them, because I've been at levels where they've been with drugs and with alcohol and with a lot of different things that I had to hit those lows so I could understand those people and they could take me seriously when I talked about it. And that your past is absolutely key to giving you the power and the motivation to step forward and be something bigger.
You know, one of the things I wanted to talk about on this, since we're talking about Virginia, if you don't, it was that one of the ways I played small is I was very good at talking, and I could use that to manipulate almost any situation. And I thought I was just in a great space, just like you're talking about with all the houses and all that stuff. And I had the title of vice president and the beautiful boyfriend, and I had the job that I wanted and all this other kind of stuff. And I just remember it. I remember one day I sat in my office and I just sat there and said, I really don't like my life right now. And that was, I remember that night, and just I'm a very honest person, so I'm going to tell you where I was at. I went out and I bought a $100 bag of crystal meth, and I snorted it up my nose the entire night, and that's how it was my escape. That's what's denying yourself. That's what's not loving yourself. That's what's not doing. That's denying God in you, and that's definitely not love. And but I thought I was on top of the world because I could literally convince somebody to do anything, just about.
And that's what's great, Jeremy, is admitting that your struggle is your love.
Yeah.
You know, that is what's absolutely huge as well. When you deal with something like that, to be able to come forward and say, I know I'm struggling, and I know that this is one day going to empower who I am when I have the power to put down the struggle. Yeah, and channel it forward. Yeah.
And one of the things that I say, and what Virginia has said before, and we talk about this, is I couldn't have had today unless I had yesterday. And that was my most important lesson. So honestly, while you're out there, guys, just think big, but think and create with love. And if you create with love and through your heart, nothing is impossible to you. Nothing. If you have just the faith that's in the mustard seed, you could say to a mountain, move here to here, and it will do it. But you have to have that faith, and it has to come through love, because we've all created in chaos and fear, and that's what we're talking about. And some people think that that's great power, but one of the other things that you and I always say, and you taught in a workshop a while ago, is that if your foundation is not built on rock, then it's going to collapse, and that's exactly what happened to me in August of 2006. Is my entire world collapsed, and then you found a very broken person 2 years later, and as you know. So what are do you have some words that maybe could help somebody if they're in a really broken place and they just don't even know the first step? You know, I know we talked about.
Well, they fall in that hole of hell. That's what I call that. It's hell of self-discovery is what it comes down to, because hell is not always a bad place. I have a lot of people say, what is hell like? I said, you live in it every day. And when I woke up and finally realized, I'm in hell. You know, I wasn't joyful. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't getting up in the morning and being glad to get up in the morning. I was getting up and just doing it by rote. And when you're at that point and you're finally ready to wake up, you need to cry a lot. You need to hold yourself. You need to really climb into that ball, because I've had 2 emotional breakdowns myself. So I know exactly what that feels like when you're losing everything in your mind and you're unwinding and it's unraveling. Don't be afraid of the unraveling. Allow it to unravel. Allow yourself to fall apart. But remember, in that falling apart, you're making metals into gold. That's what we were talking about. Take them as blessings. You now recognize they're there before you weren't even aware. So how can you change anything in your life if you're not aware of it? That's when you say, oh my God, there's a blessing. It doesn't feel good. It hurts like hell. But I'm least aware. I'm not asleep anymore. I'm not numb. And I think what I'm seeing a lot anymore when I'm traveling is I'm seeing a lot of people who are waking up and they're finally willing to look. And if you're finally just willing to look and experience that and allow it to come in and not be afraid, you're going to get an experience that you never thought you'd ever get in your lifetime. In fact, today I have a meeting in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to be talking to a group of psychologists.
Virginia, we're ended up this segment, and we'll continue that thought in just 1 second. In about a few minutes, we're going to switch to a song.
Okay.